What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Don't Quote Us Sports. It is Tuesday, March 24th. Herb, episode 46. Kick off March Madness. Let's hit him with some 46s. Not a great number, but there are some notable names to discuss or to highlight here.
Tough number.
We'll start off probably with the most notable, I would say, and that's going to be Andy Pettitte, the most notorious steroid user that actually admitted to taking steroids.
Did he admit it in front of Congress?
No, but he did do it in front of a bunch of media reporters in spring training in Florida.
Doesn't count. Wasn't in front of Congress. Doesn't count.
But I will say, doing some research on Andy Pettitte, I didn't Yankees are probably the most prestigious baseball team in MLB history. I don't think it's really much of a debate. For Andy Pettitte to rank first in strikeouts, third in wins, and tied for first in games started as a Yankee is fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, him and Mike Messina, like that combo. What I think about when I think of Yankees pitching, that's it.
Yeah, so won 5 World Series championships. He was a 3-time All-Star. And fun fact, he also is the MLB's all-time postseason wins leader.
Really?
Yes.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, they win enough times. That makes sense, I guess. But then, not surprising, but wow, all right.
It's surprising. So the way I think I'm going to format this going forward, Herb, if possible, try and highlight one of the best players from each of the major sports.
Yeah.
And some honorable mentions afterwards. So for football, we got Todd Christensen. He is number 46, tight end for the old Los Angeles/Oakland Raiders. Had almost 6,000 yards, 41 touchdowns. Actually led the NFL in receptions twice, 5 Pro Bowls, All-Pro twice. And he was part of those old Raiders Super Bowl teams.
Like we're talking like John Madden teams, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Hell yeah.
An underrated one in the hockey world, and that's David Krejci from the Boston Bruins. He was a lifer out there. Very quiet, just kind of how they ran things over there. But he had almost 800 career points and over 1,000 career games played, and he had almost 130 points in the playoffs, and he was a member of the Bruins Stanley Cup win in 2011.
Gotta love having a guy who's there his entire career and gets one. Just gets one, you know what I mean?
Yep, I feel that for sure. Basketball didn't have Jack, but...
hey, respect his name now.
You do love your boys from down under. So we will shout out Aaron Baines. He wore 46 his last 2 seasons with the Boston Celtics. He was more notorious for number 16 with the Spurs, where he won a title, but we'll still shout him out here.
Hey, 6 and 5 in his career. Give me that, all right? That's fine. Aaron Baines, what a 46 legend, they say.
And then some fun honorable mentions. Lee Smith, Herb, if you are familiar, he is probably one of the first well-known closers of in Major League history. He was the first pitcher to reach 400 saves, and he actually held the career saves record until 2006. And he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2019.
Yeah, former Cubby.
Yeah. Little niche one here. I don't know if you are aware of this. A fellow by the name of Doug Plank. He was a safety for the Chicago Bears back in the 80s when Bud Ryan was the defensive coordinator, right? So follow me here.
I'm with you.
So Ryan named his famous 46 defense after Doug Plank's jersey number.
Shit.
Since Plank since played safety and made automatic frontline adjustments in that defense.
Okay, I had no clue where the 46 defense came from. Like I knew it came from Ryan, but I didn't know that it was named after a player. Could you imagine if somebody like had created the 4-3 defense off of Troy Polamalu?
Right? I just thought that was like super interesting, like super niche. Like I didn't know there was a rhyme or reason to it.
All right.
I thought it was just kind of like the formation. Like I was just kind of assuming there was like 4 of one position.
Nah,
like
Buddy Ryan said,
DBs
"Let me make
something.
Doug Plank famous for all time."
Love that. And then a little known one, but I thought it was really, it's a sad story, but very cool. Don Fleming, former safety for the Cleveland Browns. He's the only 46 retired in the NFL across the entire league. The reason
there you go, Don.
And he was actually good when he played safety for 3. No, I'll get into that why he's retired. So in his 3 years, he intercepted 10 passes, recovered 4 fumbles, and he made the All-NFL team in 1962. However, in 1963, Fleming and a coworker, I guess this is back when NFL players had part-time jobs in the summer.
Playing plumbers and electricians, man.
Yep. Him and a coworker were operating a crane at a construction site, and the device brushed against a 12,000-volt high-tension electrical wire and killed him at the age of 25.
They retired his number because he got electrocuted to death?
Yes. And
wow.
What makes it even more like to double down on like the sadness of it all, this is literally like 2 weeks after Ernie Davis, who they had just selected at number 1 overall, passed away as well.
Yeah. God, that franchise is just cursed, isn't it?
True. But to lighten Cleveland Browns' mood a little bit, we'll finish off with a fella by the name of the Toe, nicknamed the Toe, Lou Groza.
Hey.
He was a star offensive tackle and place kicker. He primarily wore 76 throughout his career, but he did wear 46 for a short period of time. He's the only Pro Football Hall of Famer to have worn the number 46. And as I think everybody is pretty aware, the Lou Groza Award is given annually to the top place kicker in college football each season.
Mm-hmm. Listen, we've said it before. If an award's named after you, you're going to end up on this list. You have to.
You have to, even if it's an honorable mention.
Yeah. Although you might be doing Lou Groza a little bit of a disservice here.
You think he deserves it over Todd Christensen?
I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame, and there's an award named after him.
Yeah, you might be right there.
But hey, shout out Todd Christensen.
You might be right. But Herb, let's get into the meat and potatoes. You know, obviously, I know myself. I know you've been paying close attention as well, if not glued to some sort of screen over this weekend with the start of March Madness rounds 1 and 2. We had we can go a lot of ways with this conversation. We had a lot of blowouts. We had a lot of chalk. We did still have some good games caked in there as well. But before we get into all of the nitty gritty of that, why don't we just start off and give a couple of our winners and or losers, if you have them, from opening weekend.
Ooh, from opening weekend, biggest winner, and it's the talk of the town right now, it's the Iowa Hawkeyes. You and I said at the beginning of this season that we weren't going to talk shit on the Hawkeyes. We weren't necessarily going to root for them, but the McCollum, the Sturts, Maniau, Tavion Banks, the whole Cale Combs, the whole deal, we were rooting for them in a sense. Knock off number 1 Florida. I don't know if they could be any higher. Again, bunch of D2 guys. Let's not forget that. They're the biggest winner by far. My losers, I got 2 big ones. One is going to be legacy head coaches, which I know we're going to talk about. Legacy head coaches are in trouble right now. But the other one is the mid-major, unfortunately, because we've got no mid-majors in the 16. And that's just a can of worms in the NIL world that we now live in, where I think the mid-major shout out High Point for pulling off a W. But the lowest seeding we have.
I will say, can we? I know everybody wants to say how High Point is a mid major, which technically, if we're going technicalities, yes, but they do not have the NIL budget of a typical mid major. Like they are one of the bougiest mid majors. They have a multi-million-dollar NIL budget.
Yep.
Like they probably have NIL budget that is up there with like the A10. Like schools in the bottom half of the A10.
A10's still a mid major though.
But they're high mid major. Like
so I'm still putting the High Point
winning, like VCU winning. Like I don't. Yes, they're a mid major, but I don't view them in the same lens as regular or typical mid majors, if that makes sense.
Or they're just a mid major that figured it out. Like they recognized very quickly, like, hey, if we want to be relevant, we got to go to the billionaires that are alumni of the school and go find some money. And not every school is like that. You know, UNI. God, can you imagine what UNI's NIL budget is for basketball?
I wish I knew.
Can't be
where Drake was at too, just so I knew like what the pecking order was.
Right, and I got to imagine we're fairly low.
I think we're in the upper half, surprisingly.
You think of all mid major?
No, in the Missouri Valley.
Sure, but I bet you we're still lower half, bottom third in terms of total mid major spending.
Yeah.
No, we all love a Cinderella. You know, we just do, but we didn't get that this year. Not quite. So we're having to buy into teams like Texas and Iowa this year.
So I want to throw out a couple of ideas that I have heard about how to fix that. The Cinderellas in this new NIL environment that we have. And I don't know, I'm a fan of one more so than the other, but I'll throw them both out at you. So instead of automatic bids going to the conference champs, it will now go to the regular season champs, because there was many scenarios or instances this year in which the team that won the regular season championship did not make it to the tournament. So we had an 18-win Penn team make it over, I think they finished third in their conference. Belmont in the Missouri Valley, I think, would have given a hell of a much better game than you and I did.
Correct.
In that you had, who was it? I think it was Navy, maybe it was Army, that had like 26 or 27 wins that didn't end up making it. So that's one. I don't know if I'm personally for that one, because I do think there is still money involved with these conference tournaments, and for that reason alone, they'll never get rid of them entirely, sure, even if it's not a lot for some of these conferences.
Sure.
And then the other one, this one I am more of a fan of, and that is if you finish with the top 2 seed in your conference at the end of the regular season, you get an automatic bye to the semifinals, similar to how the WCC, the conference that Gonzaga is in, how they do things. So instead of being like Belmont, you have to win 3 games to make it to the tourney, you would only have to win 2. So,
yeah, and I think that it would be the more realistic option. Would be option 2, right? And you hit the nail on the head. It's money. It's the conference tournament. It's not just the conference themselves making money, but the cities in which they host the conference tournaments, especially for a lot of the mid-major conferences. I don't hate it. I don't love it. The part of me thinks that it's just like, hey, line them all up, one through the bottom seed, and let's do this thing. That's the old school mentality. If we wanted to see a mid-major have the legs to get to the Sweet 16, to get to the Elite Eight, hell, to give us an FAU to the Final Four, you know, we would have to see some change at the conference level. I don't disagree with that. I'll go with option 2.
I mean, the other one they could go but this would probably just get rid of mid-majors in the tournament in general. It's just taking some type of stat or weighting of stats and picking the 68 best teams that way. Like
Oh, you're talking about just kind of an open format of, hey, here are 1 through ranking 64, and you're making it.
Yeah, here's
kind of a deal.
Basing it off like the net rankings or Ken Palm or a combo of those. But that would pretty much get rid of all of mid majors at that point.
Yeah, I mean, then we're just. God, that feels like it would just open up a can of worms that we're not prepared to go down. We haven't figured out this NIL thing yet. That would just be, I feel like, catastrophic.
Mm-hmm. And that was another conversation. I don't know if we want to hold off on it in relation to NIL or just dive into it right now.
But screw it. Let's go.
I want to get your thoughts of it, right? Because obviously NIL has vastly changed the current environment that we are in from a sporting perspective. But you have some of these schools like BYU, Indiana, Kansas, I'm sure, Kentucky, right, that are putting 15, 20, $30 million into their basketball roster for one given season, right? Obviously, we don't know what is in the future in terms of regulation and if there's going to put caps eventually or like what NIL could look like 5 years from now. But let's say nothing changes and they don't add any regulations. How long will some of these donors at some of these schools continue shelling out millions upon millions of dollars when you're getting bounced the first weekend of the tournament or not even making the tournament at all, like Indiana, and they spent $32 million on that roster?
Right. And remind you, they turned down the NIT bid. Darren DeVries, second year in a row, turning it down last year for good reason. But like you said, the donors, no, go play in the NIT and go try to win some kind of a trophy. No, you got to think about these NIL donors. Like if you and I donate, right, it's because we're fandom and we want to feel like we're a part of it, right?
Yeah.
Millionaires and billionaires are donating, and they don't just throw their money around without expecting some return on investment. So the fact that a school like Indiana...
we're talking more than just their name on some building, too.
Oh, no. There's some very real business return on investment here. Okay, listen, nobody's giving you $10 million in NIL and expecting nothing in return. Mm-hmm. And listen, that box seat that you get us, that's nice, but I just gave you $10 million. Mm-hmm. Right? So I can see Kentucky's a perfect example, and part of the deal with Calipari leaving Kentucky was the fan base was fed up. They didn't care about having, well, we had 7 first-round picks on our team. Cool. Did it win us a championship? Because, yeah, that's cool in recruiting to boast about. But at the end of the day, the folks that are donating are a fan at some level. And whether they think that their return on investment is a trophy or dollars in their pocket or whatever it might be, that trophy, I think, sits at the top. Because listen, funding only goes up when you're winning national championships. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. So I think I agree. Like Kentucky's a perfect example. Kansas is a perfect example. Did you hear about the kid from Kentucky that transferred from Arizona State?
Was it the big guy that only ended up playing like 4 games or something this year?
I think it's Quantense or Quantense.
Yeah.
Right? He made like $100,000 per point he scored or something. They paid him $2 million, I think it was, to come over, and he played in 4 games.
Right.
If you're donating money, is that the type of shit you want to see for Big Blue out there?
Right. And that's why that's the annoying part with NIL, because I don't think this was ever the intention behind NIL. It was you get paid for your name, image, and likeness. And that means that you are promoting something. And like I think of like Friday Night Lights, where they're going and promoting Buddy's fucking car dealership. You know, like you're doing like shit around the town, like local things to get paid that way. You're not just getting pay to play like it is right now.
And the collectives are the issue.
Yeah. And that's, I think, the thing that drives me crazy and would probably what drives these boosters crazy too, is because you're paying them this like large sum of money for at one season, which is the problem because then immediately they're able to jump into the portal and do it again next year, get a pay raise. I think at a minimum, if there was going to be one change and one change only, they have to be multi-year deals moving forward. I am sick of seeing these kids that go to 5 schools in 5 years, don't stick around and are just bag chasing the entire time. I can't stand that.
And I wholeheartedly agree. I think we are inching closer and closer, especially the way the portal for football, college football, shook out this year. And with like the Darian Mensah thing with the buyout of the contract and Sorsy's buyout, you're going to see a lot more of that. And all of a sudden, ESPN headlines are just going to be filled with this university is seeking litigation against this former 5-star, and it's all we're going to fucking hear about. And it's frustrating from a fan standpoint because, I remember having a Wisconsin jersey back when I was being told to root for Wisconsin, right? And it was a Scott Tolzien jersey. You remember Scott Tolzien?
Number 16, yeah.
Hey, number 16 in your program, number 1 in your heart, okay? But, I rooted for Scott Tolzien because he was part of the Badgers, when I was very young, and I was excited about it. And how do you get that fandom again? How do we reinstill that? Like you said, if guys are jumping all over the place every year, it's hard to buy into a program.
Yeah, that was the most God, speak regular English. God damn. That was the super fun thing about the years that Drake basketball while we were there, or the tail end that you were there, right? Once Darren came in, we had essentially the same roster or players from the same original roster for 6 years, and it just kind of slowly changed, a new player or two each year, but it was primarily the same 6-7 guys for 5 years, and that just built the excitement year after year. You're building towards something,
The name Darnell Brody holds weight in the city of Des Moines right now. Darnell Brody hadn't played for the Dogs in 2 years.
DJ Wilkins, Roman Penn.
They
can go back to a NAP center and people will recognize them for years.
And you're just, and I think that's why a lot of folks, and I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like the general population favors college basketball over the NBA in its current iteration. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And
I would say there's a bigger following NBA. I think the passion is higher or more intense in college.
And it's because it's a buy-in from the fan base. You feel like you know those players because you're at 7, 8, 9, 10 home games, whereas maybe you only go to a Minnesota game or a Charlotte game once or twice a year, right?
And
there's not that feel to it. It's also one of
those things too where it's in a lot of these cities, they're college towns. There's not a lot going on. So you could just be walking around and just be seeing them around town and having conversations or interacting with them way more frequently than you ever would a professional athlete.
Yeah. So you take that aspect, you take the history and the culture behind Drake basketball, for example. There's a great basketball culture. It has a good little following that buys into these players, except for the fact that now the players are moving every year, especially at mid-majors. These mid-major, we're all now just stepping stones. And that sucks.
Yep. Wholeheartedly agree there.
Make college basketball great again.
But Herb, can I give you a couple of my winners?
Please.
So, obviously, you already threw out the Hawkeyes, but we got to throw out the other side of the equation here, and that's Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
They come into this tournament with their highest ranking ever, highest seed ever, and having never won an NCAA tournament game before. And then over the course of 2 days, they are now officially in their first ever Sweet 16 after winning their first 2 games in March. So I think that deserves a round of applause in in and of itself, right there. That's a crazy accomplishment. Um, the other one I want to shout out. There's a couple of really good ones, um, because I just don't think we're gonna touch on all of them. Um, Got to shout out Alabama. I didn't think they were gonna make it this far, but they have looked dominant in their 2 wins. They absolutely boat raced Texas Tech
Mm-hmm.
yesterday. Um, I didn't think they were going to get here without Aiden Holloway, but yet Nate Oates finds himself here once
Hey,
again.
Phylon's the truth, is he not? That kid can dish it.
Yeah. Jeremiah Fears might have something to say about that, though.
Phylon had 12 assists in that game, which I think
Jeremy Fears had 16.
Really? Wow, I guess I missed that. Jesus.
I think I saw the stat he had 27 through his first 2 games. Sorry, coffee.
You're good. You're good.
But the other one I'm going to toss out is Iowa State. Scrappy performance after losing probably, I would argue, their best player in Josh Jefferson early in that first round matchup against Tennessee Tech. They still end up winning that game by 34, and then they take on a Kentucky team with plenty of momentum after a game that we will talk about shortly here against Santa Clara. And Lindsey, the point guard, has the game of his life. Scores 30 plus, 10 plus assists. And it gave me confidence, even regardless of what happens with Josh Jefferson's health. Hopefully he's able to return sooner rather than later. I haven't really been keeping up with the reports. I still think Iowa State can make a run to the Final Four without it.
I don't disagree that Iowa State looked good. Here's their problem. They started way too slow, and they know it. And this is the story of TJ Otzelberger's Iowa State teams when it comes to March. They get cold at the wrong time, and then they start slow in these tournament games. They started slow. Okay, they didn't even have. They had 31 at the half, which was a surprising 1-point lead. Like it, dude. They scored like 50 some odd points, right? Whatever the final was, 50 some odd points in the second half. Whatever Otzelberger said at the half, good for you, bud. Go ahead and record that and play it before the game next time. As for Jefferson, they're saying that he's probable to be back. Dude, I don't know if you saw that injury. I don't know that he's going to be back, man.
Yeah, we'll see on that one. But let's talk about a couple of these games. Or actually, let me give you a couple stats first, and then we'll jump into some of the actual games. Just because I want a high level couple things. So the top 16 seeds went 16-0 in the round of 64 for the second straight year. So to reiterate your no Cinderellas type thing. So second straight year, 7th time overall. And then there was 32 games in round 2. So there's been 48 games, right, so far?
Yeah, that maths.
If that maths. There has been 14 of those 48, or almost a quarter of the games, have been won by 20 or more points.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, lots of blowouts. And then I have to shout this out because just craziness. I don't know if you had seen this, but the final perfect bracket this year survived until the 44th game of the tournament. So this is one game further than last year, and it's the best run since 2019, where some dude got the first 49 correct. But 44 in a row. We're inching closer and closer, I feel like. And if it continues being chalk like this in future years, we may actually end up seeing one.
Hey, he should have called me. Okay, I was picking Tennessee over Virginia since when the brackets came out. Book it.
Okay, but into the games themselves, Herb, we gotta start with the first game that I truly paid close attention to, from start to finish, and that was number 7 Kentucky taking on number 84 Santa Clara. First game, day 2, in St. Louis, and I'll be completely honest with you, I had Santa Clara plus 3.5 this game, and I thought there was no possible way that didn't cover. Before we get into all of the theatrics of it, this was just a crazy game from tip. It was tied 12 times. The lead changed 20 times. But then we get to the final 10 seconds, and you have Santa Clara go down there, drain a 3. I think it was Adam Graves who drilled a 3. Or Alan Graves drilled a 3. And this is where the controversy comes in.
Okay.
You can see Herb Sendek, who is the coach of Santa Clara, start running towards the ref that is on the sideline, starting to run the opposite direction back up the court. And you can see him motioning for a timeout, which was not granted. The ball gets inbounded to Otega Uwe, who then dribbles up court and hits a just beyond or just in front of half court shot at the buzzer to send it to overtime. However, there's the controversy with the timeout, first off, but then there was also the controversy that the clock did not start at the correct time. It started late.
Okay.
As well. And then from there, Kentucky had all of the momentum rest of the game. Once that 3 went into tie it to send it to overtime, I knew right then and there Santa Clara didn't have a chance. Dead. Just ripped it from my heart, crushed it. Terrible way to start my sports betting on day 2.
Did you give up after that, or did you continue onward?
I placed bets on the first 4 games, and I felt so confident in all of them. Let me see if I can go find them real quick.
Because listen, your boy is 5 for 6 on his bets, which includes 2 3-leg parlays. That's right, we out here.
Yeah, no, I wish I could say the same. I'm 0 for 4. I went Santa Clara plus 3.5. Got my heart ripped out. Akron plus 7.5.
Hey,
they forgot how to play.
What happened there?
They forgot how to play basketball the last 5 minutes.
I wasn't going to bring it up. Oh, that was a tough pick for you.
Then I had Long Island plus 30.5 against Arizona. Nope.
Yeah.
And then Virginia minus 17.5 against Wright State.
Yeah.
So I went over 4 first 4 games on day 2, and I stopped from there.
Just shut it down. Hit the brakes.
That shit hurt.
I had a nice parlay of the spreads for Iowa, Texas, Nebraska that hit. I think that's the one I sent to you. That one had me doing a little happy dance right there. That was a good hitter. That was a nice hitter for me.
But Herb, any thoughts on this Kentucky-Santa Clara game? Did you think Herb Sendek called the timeout there? Deserved a timeout?
Yeah, and then the clock review, or the clock getting screwed up, it's like that should have led to a stoppage anyway. So there should have been time anyway. But yeah, he called timeout.
I'm surprised with the amount of replay that we have in college basketball nowadays. That's something that they could, you know how, isn't it in soccer that you can dispute results?
After the fact, you can contest.
or contest, like how you can contest this, and they could quickly like you can very clearly see, be like, yeah, right there. Replay the last 2.5 seconds.
And we've talked about it. The NFL, NBA, NCAA, they will take every chance they get to throw a whopper, double whopper ad in your fucking face. But now, when it matters, you don't want to cut to commercial and take a minute to get it right. It's just like, come on, man. You're right. We have camera angles on everything. Okay, I could see a guy in the third row picking his nose. Okay,
and it's not like it was so blatant. Like he's running towards the ref. Like how does there's 3 refs on the court.
Yeah, nobody saw.
That one doesn't see. You're telling me the other 2 don't see that either?
Hey, we didn't see shit. We didn't hear shit. All right, we got money on this one too.
Like, it's just infuriating.
Yeah, and that's college sports, bud, and that's betting on college sports right there for you, live and in color.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. On to the next, one of the actual upsets of the first round, and that was number 11 VCU storming back to beat number 6 North Carolina 82-78 in overtime. The Rams are at one point, if you don't remember, trailed by 19 points at one point in the second half. Reeled off 12 straight, stormed back in the final 7 minutes of regulations to force overtime.
I thought when they started that run, I thought there was too much time on the clock because these games have all been just runs, back and forth for the most part. You know, you go 11-0, we go 11-0, 11 whatever it is. I thought they hit the run too early, and so I thought that the last minute and a half that they were going to shit down their leg and run out of momentum and gas. They did not, and you know who did shit down their leg though?
UNC and the Tar Heels.
Of epic proportions, maybe historic proportions, to be honest with you. I mean, look at how far they have fallen.
Before I know where you're leading with this.
No. Go ahead. I'm just throwing that out there.
I want to give flowers to Terrence Hill Jr. of VCU real quick before you go on your damnation. The dude scored 23 of his 34 points after overtime, including the go-ahead bucket with 15 seconds left in overtime. But Herb, if I'm sure weren't aware, because I wasn't aware until just now. Over the final 15 minutes of game time, regulation and OT of that game, Hill had more points and more made field goals than North Carolina had as a team.
Say that again. It registered, but I don't believe what I just heard. Say it again.
VCU's Terrence Hill Jr. alone, by himself, had more points and more made field goals in the last 15 minutes of game time of that game than the entire North Carolina basketball team.
Huh? That's crazy. That's fucking insane. Huh?
Yeah. I'm just as shocked reading that out loud as you are. But
hey, congratulations to that young man. He just got himself paid next year.
But let me give you the floor. Let's hear the damnation of Hubert Davis as I am hypothetically and figuratively nailing him to a cross behind me.
It's just, when I think about North Carolina, right, it's Jordan, obviously, right? Everybody thinks that. But for me, it's so much more of the old Duke UNC rivalry. Tyler Hansbrough, Sean May, Marcus Page. Like that era and elite level in which they held Like UNC was up there with Duke and Kansas as the standard. I think everybody can agree with that under Roy Williams. And you look at this team and the lack of fight that they showed. And truthfully, the lack of, I don't want to say lack of give a fuck, but it was almost like that they were just there. And because they're UNC, we're supposed to win. And that's an issue with culture, and that's an issue with coaching. It's time. It's time to make a different move. And I want to hear your opinion on where they could go, but Hubert Davis, it's not working. The attitude shit, and his post-game conference, I know you're upset, and I know you're walking into a shitstorm in the media, but to be a dick to the media after you failed as a coach and your players failed and gave up a 19-point lead, that's not the media's fault. So you're sitting there taking it out on them. I'm just like, dude, I get it, you're upset, but like, come on, that's on you. You got to shoulder that. And I think that's part of the culture issue at North Carolina right now. You're where Jordan went. You're where the great one went. You have to be an elite program. They are far from an elite program right now.
Yeah, and I will be 100% honest with you. I have never been a huge fan of Hubert Davis. I feel like he really only got the job because he was close to Roy Williams and he played at UNC. Yep. I don't think he was the best coach that was available at that time. It was almost, he was handpicked by Roy Williams to take over for him because he was an assistant coach for so long under him at UNC. I've never been a fan. I think him making that shocking run to the national title game in his first year bought him a couple extra years that he did not deserve otherwise. And yeah, people are going to point to he has a 70% win percentage at UNC.
Sure.
And my counter to that is kind of to what you were getting at was when you're at a school like UNC, I don't care what percentage of games you're winning.
Mm-hmm.
It is not about the number of games you win. It's about the games you do win, the games that matter. And that's where Hubert Davis has fallen short time and time again. This is the second straight year in which his team has not made it out of the first round. I believe they were higher seeds in both years. I could be mistaken there. But then going back a little bit further, remember 2022-23, they were the preseason AP number 1 team.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even make the tournament. They end up unranked, 20-13.
How he kept his job after that is mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm. And then you had probably their best team, which was the next year. They go 28-8, win the regular season NCAA or ACC championship, and then they lose in the Sweet 16 as a number 1 seed.
We should be talking about UNC as a perennial Final Four team. That is what that program demands. And you made a great point. You know, it was Roy Williams handpicked. It's because he played there. It's because he's a part of North Carolina culture. I think it's time for the Tar Heels to break that mold. Because if you look at you look at the North Carolina alumni and coaching circles right now, it's not as spectacular as it has been. It's just not. So I think this is an opportunity for them to reset themselves a little bit and go out and find somebody who's outside of that circle.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, though. I think it will happen. Don't get me wrong. I think it will happen. I think it will take longer for it to actually happen than we think it will, because he does have a major buyout on his contract, and UNC has a lot of money tied up in their football program now and in old coaches.
Mm-hmm. But they're still paying Roy.
But the boosters are fed up. They are done. They have lost complete faith in Hubert Davis and the direction that he is going. There's no way that he is coming back.
No, and I think it would be a systematic failure if he is the head coach next year. Unfortunately, I don't hate the guy. I know what North Carolina is supposed to be, and it's just he's not there with it.
Yeah, but the writing's on the wall. UNC's already postponed the player coaches end of season conferences. He's postponed his regular radio shows that he does. Like he is MIA, out of the public eye.
He's already got a realtor on lock in Chapel Hill. He's ready to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate for him. Probably
Yes.
for the best for UNC.
Correct. Unfortunate it didn't work out better.
And it sucks, too, because I truly think if Caleb Wilson doesn't get injured, this UNC team was really good. Like, this UNC team with Caleb Wilson, I think, was outscoring opponents by, like, 12 points while he was on the court. And they just fell flat on their face without him, which makes sense. It's a kid that's going to probably be a top 5-6 pick in this year's NBA draft. He brought a lot of energy for you, a lot of size. So it is hard losing that at the end of the regular season. But to say that UNC is not full of talent up and down that roster to be able to win a first-round matchup.
Against VCU, of all teams.
VCU is a good team.
They are a good team, but they are not on that level by any means. Like this shouldn't have been close.
Yeah,
you had a 20-point lead for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to diminish VCU, but also real quick, did you see what the head coach said after they lost in the second round to Illinois?
No.
With the nameplate, the players traditionally now are taking their nameplates. He goes, might as well hold on to them. We're going to be back here next year.
Yeah,
I like that mentality, and I tell you what, I like that coach. If they keep that little fight in them, that dog in them, yeah, they will be back.
Yeah, but some names are already tossing out. If the UNC job does open up, they're going big game hunting. They're saying Todd Golding, TJ Osselberger, Nate Oates, Mark Byington from Vanderbilt. They're calling them up and making them say no.
Yeah, and of those names, Nate Oates would make a lot of sense. I wonder if they go pro. I wonder if a guy like Billy Donovan would go back. That era
rarely ever worked.
Yeah,
I know Billy Donovan has had success at the college level, but
massive success.
I just don't think but that was in the old NCAA without NIL and the current. I feel like you need a younger guy that knows how the current environment works.
I get that. I think some of that argument would be that his experience now in pro basketball, which is basically what we're going towards. But I get it. There's nuances to it. I understand what you're saying. But I think Nate Oates could do a really good job there.
Yeah. Anything else you got for the UNC VCU game?
Nope, nothing I got.
Okay. Dive in a little bit more in Nebraska's history after they beat number 5 Vanderbilt 74-72. Like I said before, made history winning their first 2 games in the NCAA tournament in the span of 3 games. And this one was a nail-biter from start to finish. You had Nebraska taking the lead late, 2.5 seconds left of that game. And then I don't know what type of fucking witchcraft the state of Nebraska put on to the basket of Vanderbilt when Tanner shot that full court shot or half court shot. I don't know how that ball does not go in. It went.
It was the Monstars. It was the fucking Monstars.
It hit both sides, the front and the back of that rim. Went down a little bit and bounced out.
It touched every part of that rim. It touched every single piece of it except for the bottom.
Before they inbounded that ball, did they get one? Did the ref pass it off the old ball to somebody else and then get a super overinflated ball and
I
have
don't know.
have them use that one for the final
Be,
shot?
being here in Iowa, at that moment, you could hear the collective butthole pucker of every Nebraskan west of us here. Dude, I tell you what, you want to talk about edge of your seat as a Nebraska fan. Fuck the football season. Tune on into the basketball team.
No shit, right?
Jesus.
But just crazy. This is a program that's been around since 1896, or they
Long
were
time.
there. They were there when the wooden baskets were used, and they would have to get up and dump it out after each made shot.
Yeah, no backboards, just a bucket.
And they are now dancing in the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
and they
good.
truly have a opportunity to make it to the Final Four.
There's a road for him now for sure. Good for Fred Hoiberg being back. I wasn't the biggest Hoiberg fan when he was coaching for the Bulls. I was when he was at Iowa State. Good for Hoiberg getting back to where I think he's supposed to be. And again, man, they love shooting the shit out of that ball, don't they?
Oh, they do. And I will shout out Hoiberg's son, because there is few times where I actually see a coach's son play on a team. Like, we've seen it with Calipari's kid, and we've seen it with Izzo's kid, where they're just on the team because his coach's dad, or coach's son, and they play on senior night, and that's it, or in huge blowouts. No, Sam Hoiberg is a dog. This dude's the starter, plays 30 minutes a game, and averages almost double-digit points and shoots 40% from three. And he's just a little fucking scrappy little white boy.
He is Alex Caruso. He plays that role incredibly well, and takes a lot of pride being a pain in the ass, I think is what it is.
Most definitely. But he's your little energizer bunny, and he definitely deserves to be playing. But Bryce Sanford, I still find it hilarious. The kid was playing at Iowa the past couple of years, transfers to their biggest rival in Nebraska, and has absolutely shot to superstardom ever since. That kid has worked himself into being an NBA draft pick either this year or next year, most likely.
I think probably 2 years, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But Nebraska's getting a 2.0 of him. This Colin Rice kid out of Waukee, it plays just like him, and he's going to Nebraska next year.
Hell yeah!
It's going to be look out for the Skurs, baby.
Keep it going. The powerhouse in the making, some might say.
Before we get off this game,
okay,
I do want to give a little shout out to Vanderbilt. I owe a little bit of an apology. I didn't think they were very good. Watching them play in this tournament, Vanderbilt was an extremely well-coached team, a very, very good program. So my bad on Vandy. You caught Hoiberg and the Skurs when they were a little too hot, and a little bit of luck going their way. But Vandy, absolutely, if Vandy would have won it, I wouldn't have had an issue of oh, they're not supposed to be there. No, Vandy, after watching them, was supposed to be there.
Yeah, definitely. Very underrated team that didn't get enough flowers during the year, but they were a tough out. There's no team that wanted to see Vanderbilt on that roster or on their schedule.
No, and shout out to Nebraska rising to the occasion.
Okay, next game, and really I'm only bringing this game up because of the legacy impacts of it, and that is this year's Cinderella, number 11, University of Texas, with the largest athletic budget in the entire country, upsetting number 3 Gonzaga. But Herb, this is the first time Gonzaga has not made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament in a very long time. But there's been a lot of questions as to how are we supposed to view Mark Few's career after this.
It's still in.
Give me your 2 cents, and I will get the stats to reiterate my.
How do we view Mark
support.
Few's legacy? I don't think this one tarnished it. His legacy. I think what Mark Few has done in 32 years at Gonzaga. 27. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, hate to butt in like that, but I feel
You
like
love butting in like that.
Yeah, but I feel like this will help your argument that
Go
you're
ahead.
about to make. So 27 years. He's made the tournament every year. 27 straight. 773 wins, 156 losses. He's won the WCC 21 times out of 27 seasons. He has a 56-6 WCC tournament record. He's a 2-time Naismith Coach of the Year. He has, I can give you a couple more stats here. He has made it to the Final Four twice. It does not say how many Sweet 16s he has made, but I can imagine it's been a couple. But no national titles to show for it.
Yeah.
Would you qualify him as the best college basketball coach to never have won a national title?
Ooh, I'd have to see the list on who else is on there, but certainly in that conversation. Mark Few's legacy is he took a true mid-major and turned them into a powerhouse over almost 3 decades. And I mean to an absolute powerhouse program. It's tough. It's tough because I think what it does is it doesn't tarnish, but it signals the end. It might be time for Mark Few to step out of the way of it all. But again, you've made the tournament every single year. That's what you beg for as a college basketball team. Now, the expectations have shifted dramatically in 27 years. But I don't think Mark Few is seen as any less of a coach after this one. It's disappointing, but I don't think it's tarnishing.
So some of the other notable coaches to never win a national title. Oh, that's an old article. It had John Calipari on there still.
Jesus.
Yeah. Some other notable ones. Your boy John Beilein. Kelvin Sampson of Houston. Rick Barnes at Tennessee. Matt Painter at Purdue. Jim Larinaga. He's since retired. Bob Huggins.
Matt Painter. Mark Few and Matt Painter for me would be probably 1A, 1B in no particular order. I think Matt Painter has been one of the more underrated guys, but I think he's a guy that we can start holding up there closer to Bill Self, Tom Izzo, Pitino. Like I think we can start to put him up there, but I would put Few right there with him. God, that's an interesting conversation because you look at the budget, you look at their recruiting base over the course of the years. Does Few hedge out Painter on that? That's an interesting one.
See, the thing is, right, where I don't know if I'm here for the Mark Few slander because who truly believe, like, we can rank Gonzaga in the top 5, we could rank them number 1 over and over again, right? But I feel like the expectations can only be so high for a school like Gonzaga, especially now, right, in the NIL environment, when you have other programs in the Big Ten, in the SEC, that I can only imagine are doubling their NIL budget. And I'm sure Gonzaga has a pretty sizable NIL
absolutely
at their disposal. But I just will never think they will be able to get to the same level, the same playing field as some of those true high Power 4 teams.
Yeah, they're not quite Duke, Kansas, right? North Carolina in their day. They're just not. They're right there. They're
like,
right
it's always
there.
one of those things, like, they could start the season as the number one ranked team in the entire country. But I guarantee you nobody would say, yeah, that is who I expect to win the national title at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not here for Mark Few slander either. I'm not.
If we went into a time machine and went back to when he first took over that program and said,
God.
in 27 years, and they showed us the results with no other context, right? Would you be happy with the results? Everybody would have a resounding yes. No questions asked. They would be jumping up and down with joy with what they have had for the last almost 3 decades. So
Correct.
I think it's a lot of recency bias.
Sure.
And it's like one of those things. It's kind of like Kyle Shanahan, right? With the 49ers, where his team, the 49ers, are always consistently good, but they can't win the big one. And now that is a reoccurring
theme
for him in his career. And it's the same thing with Mark Few. And the only way it will to get the monkey off his back is obviously to win a national title, which a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, a hell of a lot easier said than done. So if he's not the greatest coach, or if he's tied for greatest coach to never win it, would you consider him the greatest mid-major? Because that's what they were for the longest time, and technically still are the greatest mid-major coach to ever do it.
I feel like you would have to.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this guy, we're talking about a Hall of Fame coach here. Whether anyone wants to admit that or not, Mark Few is going to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
I don't think anybody's arguing that one.
I bet you there's some assholes out there that are. Never won a national championship. How's he going to be in the Hall of Fame?
I would be hard-pressed to find somebody that disagreed with that.
I hope so. I hope we turn this into a clip, and I hope somebody comments that Mark Few stinks. Oh.
Yeah, please, somebody call me out on my BS if I'm wrong, but I find that really hard to believe.
Yeah. But another year, another Gonzaga team, and let's not act like they won't be back.
Right, yeah. My voice is starting to give out a little bit.
Okay.
Can I hand over the reins to you to lead the convo on the last 2 games here that we got?
Last 2, sure. Yeah, I got you. Round 2 gave us what I think are some absolutely incredible basketball games. And this one, you might disagree, but I think this was the game of the tournament, to be honest with you.
Yep. Double. Yep. Give me more.
St. John's, number 5 against number 4 Kansas, 67-65 on a buzzer. St. John's is moving on. Pitino is moving on. The Godfather, okay, is still dancing. It was out of a movie. It was absolutely out of a movie. Few people remember what Dylan Darling did for the first 39 minutes of this game because it didn't matter. It didn't matter for St. John's. But they're going to remember that last second maybe forever, especially if this is a team that goes on to play in a Final Four, maybe play for the national championship game. We're going to come back to Dylan Darling making that layup. The backstory makes it so much better, too. Do you know much about Darling?
I was hoping you would get into his nickname.
Oh, his nickname.
Wait, do you not know his nickname?
I have not heard his nickname.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Are you ready?
Oh, okay, go ahead.
They call him Church Bells.
Church Bells?
Yeah, you want to know why they call him Church Bells?
Oh, why?
Because he's got balls as big as church bells.
Oh, my. Tell me Rick Pitino gave him that one. That sounds like it came. Did he?
That quote, and I quote, Dylan Darling, he's got balls as big as church bells. I mean, it's unbelievable. End quote.
That is such a Patino thing. Like, that's such an analogy.
The Red Storm gives out a red church bell to the best player of the night after the games as the Big Bells Award.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't think they're putting that on T-shirts. I really don't think they're.
I definitely think they are.
They are, aren't they? Aren't they?
Definitely. They're actually. It's going to be Dylan Darling, and it's him doing his like the South barrel, like rolling the wheelbarrow, and it's just going to be church bells inside of it.
Oh no!
It's perfect.
Oh,
actually, nobody make that. I'm going to make that.
Well, you better get on it right now.
That seems like a moneymaker.
Yeah, for sure. But the backstory on Mr. Big Bells hadn't scored a point all year.
No, all game.
Or all game, sorry. So I misspoke. Oh, because you never misspeak? Do we want to run back to comments on all your misspeaks? Sorry.
No, you just said it with so much confidence.
Conviction, I know. And then I was thinking about the High Point guy not making a 2 all year. And then
that's also crazy.
That was also crazy. Him finger rolling a fucking layup for
at full speed
of the year. Jesus. That guy. You want to talk about big bells? Go talk to that young man. That guy has to see a doctor.
But he was held scoreless for the first 39 minutes and 56 seconds.
Yeah. And I did hear that he asked for the play. Is that true?
Yeah, supposedly Bettino said it in the post-game presser. He's like, yeah, he came up to me at the in like the huddle. And he was like, they wanted to run one play. He's like, no, call a play for me. And I guess they did.
The confidence that Bettino had. The quote is he hadn't done a damn thing all night, so I know he was going to do it. The fun is just starting. Hey Rick, I know you've been doing this a long time. Okay? He hadn't done anything for us all night, so I knew this was going to be his chance. Who does that? Who makes that decision?
He said Darling comes up to him that he wanted to play a run for him. Bettino walked away, then stopped and thought, he hasn't scored a bucket, and he wants to run a play for himself, and then proceeded to do it.
And just did it. Hey, everybody loves it if it works. You're getting death threats if it doesn't.
No, you're just going to overtime.
The way that game was going, I wouldn't want to go to overtime. I wanted to get that thing done.
Yeah, they really almost shit that one down their legs.
Yeah, man. But like, what a game. It started hot. Darren Peterson hits 2 threes fast. Like, the first 2 minutes had 25 points of scoring or some crazy-ass stat line. Like they were firing.
Still a bozo.
We're going to get into that because you might be right there. All right. But this one, I think, was one of those that we're going to talk about. If this ends up being the tournament I think it's going to be, and a very memorable one, this is going to be one of those games that we're going to have to talk about for a long time. And I think Kansas is going to have to talk about it for a long time for a couple different reasons. And one of those, and we're talking legacy coaches again, Bill Self. It's been a tough year for Bill Self. Darren Peterson may have broken Bill Self. Dealing with that whole shitstorm that was. You could see it in his press conferences. You could see it in the lead up to this game. It wasn't, Bill Self's usually a happy-go-lucky guy in interviews. And you saw his face and he looked dejected and downtrodden and just in a bad way. And then you lose in the second round to St. John's. Now, you lost to a hell of a defense, hell of a head coach that has built a hell of a program. Where does Kansas go from here? Where does Bill Self go from here?
I was trying to see if I could find their stats, but Kansas, ever since they won that national title I forgot what year that was. Not too long ago. Um, they have just struggled in March. Not good. Not good at all.
So what do you think? What do you think happens? I know you're looking up the stats, but like if you were Bill Self today, and you've just gone through this saga of the off the court bullshit, and you've just lost in the second round on a heartbreaker, is he done? Is he just business as usual? What's going on?
Okay, lost second round, lost first round, lost second round. Last 4 years.
That's the last 4.
I would say purely based off the way he is talking in the media, I don't think he is coming back.
I think
he does not. There is a way to and him of all people who has been around for as long as he has been around knows how to handle the media.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows this will now be a talking point until he comes out and says one way or the other what he wants to do. If he truly did not want the distraction, and don't even talk about like what this does from a recruiting lens, right? If he didn't want any of that and did not want to cause any concerns with pending recruits and whatnot and the transfers and blah, 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 he would have just denied it right away. Just shut it down. I'm coming back next year. No questions asked to it. No, this is the talk that Aaron Rodgers has been doing in the offseason for the last 2-3 years, where it's like, we'll see how this season goes. And then I'll take some time to think and go into my hut and smoke my ayahuasca and
peyote.
Get back to you, you know?
I wouldn't be mad if Bill Self called it a career. I wouldn't be mad at all. I think what Bill Self has done on a basketball court, coaching is incredible, but I do think Darren Peterson broke him. Maybe NIL as a whole. Maybe I shouldn't blame one guy, but that was the spotlight of it all this year. So can you look up his all-time wins? I know we just did it. I can't remember what it is.
Yes, sir.
Because he's what, third or fourth?
No, that was just some tournament wins.
True. Wouldn't shock me if he was third or fourth all time.
He is 855 and 272. Win percentage of 76.
Yep. I mean, it might just be time for him, and I wouldn't be upset whatsoever. I wouldn't scorn him. I wouldn't blame him. But I think the decision needs to be made now.
Yeah, and especially a coach of that stature who's won multiple national titles, who's made multiple Final Four appearances. Wouldn't you rather go out on your own note, like?
Yep.
At this point, rather than being forced out?
God, do you think they could? Do you really think they could or would?
I think it would turn into one of those, we have made a group decision where it's like we came to him, like it would be like they went to him, said, hey, you should retire, and he's gonna be like, yeah, you're right. I don't think they would ever be like straight up, you're done.
No, I don't know that they could, to be honest with you.
But the conversation would be behind closed doors. Would be like,
hey, Bill.
We would be, yeah.
It's time.
And he's 63 years old. Like, you know my feelings on it. Once you hit 63, shit, go be with your family. You've done everything you needed to prove.
Tell that to Patino, who's 73.
His life is basketball. I think he likes basketball more than his family. I don't think Bill Self's like that.
No, probably not. Probably not. You know, and to be honest, the way that Kansas played well, but they got stifled by that trap defense at times. Even if Kansas would have pulled that off, they run into Duke in the next round, and I think that would have been a bloodbath.
Duke would have fucking shit all over them.
I think we're talking about a 10-point loss.
They already beat Kansas once this year. They'll do it again.
Yeah, especially the way Duke's rolling after a little stumble in the first round.
Little hiccup, but that's okay.
Got their heads on right against TCU, though.
Fun fact, though, now that Kansas has not made it to the Sweet 16 for 4 consecutive years, this is the first time since 1985 where that's happened.
Wow, yeah, that's the signal. That's the writing on the wall right there. That tells you everything you need to know.
That is how consistently they were making deep tournament runs. If not every year, every couple of years.
I mean, you're the birthplace of college basketball. I would hope that's what you were doing every year. So, let me throw out a couple names that if Bill Self stepped down, Ben
McCollum.
That's where I was going. Now,
that was the first name I saw linked to it. Do I think he bounces to a third job in 3 years? I don't think so. But tell me.
That's who I wanted to throw out. We both know Ben from a 1-year basis at Drake. We know he up and left. I was a little salty about it, rooting for him now. Does he strike you as that type?
No. I wasn't even for sure he was going to leave Drake last year.
Correct. And it shocked. A year ago, tomorrow, I think, he up and left. No, McCollum, I think that one might be a little too big for him. Like, get real good at Iowa. Turn Iowa into something great, which I think McCollum certainly can do.
And how long was he at Northwest Missouri State, too? It was like 20-some years, wasn't it?
Was it 17 to 20 years or something like that? He was there for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's why both of us never thought he would leave, but now all of a sudden he is the hottest coach in college basketball.
Yeah.
I think part of the deal was I think he was going to stay at Drake if that Iowa job doesn't get open. Think about this. If the Iowa Hawkeyes never get rid of Fran McCaffrey, or if they wait another year, does Darren DeVries jump to West Virginia still? Is Darren DeVries the head coach at Iowa in some way, in some alternate timeline? And is McCollum still at Drake? Also, think about this. If Drake would have been able to go get one of these centers that he has, right? We'll get into that. But Drake basketball very well could have made a Sweet 16 this year if you would have copy and pasted what we had last year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we're taking partial credit here.
Which I guess we can get right into that. Our last game, and it's the talk of the town, huh?
Yep.
The defining upset of the weekend. You watched it. I watched it. It was true madness. Well, there's a lot to get into in this game, but the most important part is that number 9 Iowa on a game-winning 3, which they did not shoot threes well the entire game, holds off the reigning national champion, number 1 seed Florida. Give me your thoughts on this game. Just raw, uncut. What'd you think?
I will be honest with you. I didn't think there was a chance I was going to win this game. I thought Florida had far too much size, and we know Iowa, on the flip side, doesn't have a lot. I've never been super high on Cam Manyow. I think he's kind of weak down there in the post. Doesn't bring a ton of physicality, if you ask me. So I didn't know how they were going to handle that size. But I see Bennett Sturts out there and just grinding down the clock like he always does. I've never seen a dude be less flustered when being at the half-court logo and seeing 4 seconds on the shot clock and being like, yep, this is where I want to be right now. And making something happen every time.
Money time, baby. Money time. Just get the ball in my hand.
It was crazy. And to be honest with you, I know it looked like Florida was going to pull that out at the end. I truly think Iowa was the better team in this game from start to finish.
Yeah, I doubted you. You had told me last week that Iowa could win this thing. Or sorry, no, you were on Team Nebraska. I told you. Oh
No, I
wow, I'm
said
flipping. You were on Iowa,
I think I said that Iowa could win this game when we talked
and
about it. I just wasn't confident with it.
correct. So it was all about pace because that's the point that you made. That's the point that everybody talked about. You had the fastest team in NCAA going against one of the slowest teams in the NCAA. Hey, tortoise in the hare. Who always wins? It's a tortoise, baby. It's the tortoise. What a fun game to watch. And obviously, like the personal connection for you and I watching these guys on a much smaller stage. You're going to hear me say something that I'm not used to saying, but I was rooting for the Iowa Hawkeyes. That one you might want to quote. Somebody might want to clip that, keep that, because that's not going to be said very often.
Yeah. Two things that I do want to point out from this game. The Florida Gators, bunch of thugs. First off,
You want to talk about the double tech?
You know exactly, dude. That doesn't even you had that where he full on body slams him well after the whistle has been blown. Ball's dead. It's a jump ball, clear as day. What the fuck are you doing? Before that, I forgot the player from Florida. I forgot who it was.
The center, number 9.
Just comes running down like a goddamn fucking linebacker and just decks. Who was it? Was it Manyow?
It was Manyow or Fulgarius.
Just decks him. No fouls called either, which is
nope, nothing. Like nobody saw it.
Outrageous. So the second I saw the whole WWE thing going on, and I've never seen Ben McCollum
not like that
like that before. Oh, he was ready to go to town. I'm ready to pay tickets to see Ben McCollum fight Todd Golding in the octagon.
Hey, forget the next Jake Paul fight. Give me these two going at it, huh?
But Ben McCollum has to be wearing suit and tie.
At least shirt and tie, at minimum. With that fire in him, I think you and I both agree, and in most coaching circles, Ben McCollum is seen as a very friendly, classy, not easily rattled guy when it comes to things outside of his team. He was ready to swing. He was ready to go. Did you see what he said at the halftime report? Or maybe, it was just post-game report?
No.
So they interviewed him. They asked him about it or whatever it was. And he goes, yeah, everybody was just scrapping for the ball, and all of a sudden they got all sensitive. He goes, I thought we were just playing basketball. Ben McCollum out here calling the Florida Gators sensitive.
That's funny. The other thing I wanted to bring up, did you hear what Ted Golding wanted to do at the end of that game?
Oh, you know what? I did, but it's escaping me. You're gonna have to tell me. I saw the presser. I think I know what you're talking about.
So Florida was up by 2 and Iowa hits that 3-pointer with, I think it was 4.5 seconds left. They didn't even want to give Iowa the chance to shoot a 3. He wanted to foul them up by 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard of this debauchery before. What the fuck are we doing?
You take that mentality,
and I'm the stats guy.
Yeah, and you were gonna foul Bennett Sturts, right? Who last year at times struggled late in games to make free throws. This year he's shooting about 80%. So, part of me understands where it comes from. I wouldn't make that decision. But you pair that with the full court press, those two mentalities combining, led to failure. What college basketball coach is pressing in that situation?
Especially against a team like Iowa that doesn't want to move quickly.
No.
You're speeding up their clock.
And Bennett Sturts just hit the gas, found the hole, and found an open man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was a horrific attempt at a full court press too. Like Bennett Sturts caught that with speed off the inbound, past 3 Florida Gators, and now you have 2 Gators back. One is a 6'1" guard, and then the other one is a wing player. He had 2 players he could have thrown the ball to in the each opposite corners. Pick your poison.
Yeah. Did you you caught the quote from the interview about what was said? We're talking about, hey, I want the ball in my hand type guys. Did you see what Fulgaris is? I think that's how you say it. Fulgaris said to Bennett in the huddle.
No, I hope it was something just electric.
So they're talking about it in the post game, and Fulgaris points at Bennett, and Bennett goes, "Yeah." He looks over at me in the huddle and says, "I'm going to be ready and I'm going to make it." And Sturts goes, "That's actually what he did." Like I'm shocked. He came to me, said, "Give me the damn rock." I gave it to him, and he hit it.
Hell yeah, I love the confidence of players like that.
And from your essentially your center, right? He's playing center for you. A corner 3 to win it. That a baby.
And he might not even be the most impressive big man for Iowa that game. You had Tavion Banks who put up 20, but then the kid that I don't think is getting enough credit, and that's Cooper Cock.
Yep.
The freshman.
Cook.
Sorry.
Jesus.
He just sorry. I just saw him whip that thing out the other day, and I was like, my bad. Dude, he kept them in that game. He was cold-blooded at one point. What was it? He hit like 2 or 3 in a row from deep. Like, hand in his face on the last one, too. In the report, the announcer, I forgot who was announcing the game. He's like, they don't want to give Cook the ball here. Cook gets the ball, hand directly in his face. Bang! Right in his face. He's like, I was speechless. I'm like, dude, the cojones on this true freshman on a stage like this.
And they needed it because Bennett at one point was like 0 of 6 or 0 of 7 from 3. Like he just wasn't having a great shooting day, was getting his opportunities, but just wasn't hitting them. So guys like Cale Combs, guys like Tavion Banks, guys like Cook had to step up. I saw a tweet, you'll appreciate this, and our Drake fandom will. Somebody tweeted out that Tavion Banks is playing like prime Darnell Brody right now. And I was like, you know what? You're not fucking wrong.
Yeah, see, that's the key difference with this Iowa squad compared to Drake last year is Bennett Sturts this year. He doesn't have to be on 100% on, making his shots for Iowa to win games. Whereas last year, if Bennett Sturts wasn't making shots, Drake wasn't making shots for the most part, right? He has really been able to rely on some of those depth pieces on this squad to really pull their weight. And if his shots aren't falling, he'll still take the shots. We can see that as he went 0 of 9 from 3, right? But he still brings in so much attention with his playmaking.
Yep.
To be able to have players around you that you can confidently give the rock to that they will make the shot, that just gives you even more confidence, right? So then if he does in this next game or next couple games, right, does start finding his stroke a little bit, we could be looking at a Final Four team. Let's not get it twisted. This is one of the best defensive teams, one of the best coach teams left in the field.
Definitely one of the best coach teams left in the field. And it's the fact that they have the options. We've seen in the past where teams that win the championship have 6, 7, 8 guys to go to and can all contribute. And if your star isn't performing, other people can pick it up. So So let me ask you this, because you have to. I know who I'm rooting for, but you got to play both sides of this thing. We've got the corn game, Nebraska, Iowa. I'm going to make you pick one right now on the pod. What are you taking here?
Can't we just hope both teams
Nope.
have fun?
No, we cannot. I just hope everybody has a good time and it's a really good game.
Please? Like, I truly would not be upset who wins this game.
You got to pick one right here, right now. I'm holding it to it. Mind you, for those of you that don't know, our connection to Iowa is through the whole Drake situation. But Isaiah here married into a Nebraska Big Red family.
Technically, they care more about Creighton basketball more than Husker basketball.
No. With how much Go Big Red I got to hear, I'm holding them to a standard.
That's football. That's all football.
I don't care. They're shouting it. They got to do it for all of them.
So that's going to be my out. I am hoping Iowa wins this Thursday.
Hey, we could have some Big Ten teams in the Final Four, baby.
We could. 6 teams left. 6 of the final 16.
We could have an all Big Ten Final Four.
Don't let anybody ever tell you that the Big Ten isn't the best basketball conference.
Because it fucking is.
They're the best basketball conference, the best football conference. Shit.
What a day to be a Midwesterner, huh?
Best hockey conference. What else are we the best at?
We don't have baseball, I'll tell you that.
Just start making shit up.
Bowling, obviously men's equestrian polo.
Oh, wrestling. No
wrestling,
question.
hands down.
Nope, shut up. No question. Shit, gymnastics, probably.
Yeah.
Shit, probably swimming, diving. Why not?
No, the West Coast has that on us, unfortunately. So
well, Herb, I think that wraps up the games that we wanted to discuss tonight. Unless there's anything else.
No, we'll give some predictions later this week, I think. I just had to get you on record for the Iowa-Nebraska game.
Okay. Do you want to end on shoutouts?
Yeah, we can go to shoutouts. The floor is yours.
Okay. I know it's been a hot second. We had some technical difficulties last week, so we weren't able to get the pod.
I'm sorry, boss.
Uploaded.
I'm sorry, boss.
But I don't want this to get forgotten in the annals of history.
Oh, the annals.
Annals of history.
That's the second time on this podcast you've brought annals into this thing. I mean, this is just it's getting out of hand. We need to talk.
I am convinced I am saying it correctly.
It's the annals.
But I do want to make sure we do make mention of it because we have not talked a whole lot of NBA recently. I know we will as playoffs get started here soon. But I feel like you have to shout out SGA. Say what you will about his foul baiting and the way he plays sometimes, but he is one of the top 3 best players in the world right now, and he just recorded his 128th straight game with 20 or more points, which broke Wilt Chamberlain's record streak, and that was from last week, so he's probably extended it a couple more games since then, to be completely honest with you. But shout out to OKC, shout out to SGA. That's a year and a half of NBA regular season games where you're dropping 20. You can officially say walking bucket. That dude, we say it like jokingly sometimes where a dude can just like walk on the court cold and drop 20. SGA could wake up courtside after 8 hours of sleep, dropping 20. No questions asked.
He will go down, I think, as one of the most prolific scorers in NBA history.
Yeah,
if he's not there already. Yeah. but I think he's up there. Incredible. My shout out, I got two. First one, shout out Travis Kelce, committing highway robbery of the Kansas City Chiefs on a 3-year, $53 million deal. I know it's 2 years void. I don't care. That news dropped today. It is ridiculous. He should retire. Dude, just go make Sweet Tender Love to Taylor and be on tour with her and hang out. You don't need the money. Patty's going to miss most of this year, and we all damn well know you're not going to be on the team after this year. So, Travis, congratulations. Put that mask on. You just robbed the bank, brother.
There has to be some records that he's getting close to breaking or something. That's the only reason I can see him coming back.
Dude, we saw it last year. It's painful to watch him run.
I mean, in fairness, he ended up having a lot better of a year last year than I think most people were expecting him to have.
Correct.
But yeah, it was. It's like watching Jason win at the end of his career. You're catching the ball over the middle and falling over.
It's like watching your 13-year-old dog try to jump up on the couch, and the back hips are shot, and you just know they are, and you just feel so bad for the fluffy little guy. That's how I feel when I watch Travis Kelce. It's like watching an old dog try to get onto the couch.
Yeah. How many painkillers do you think he has to take before a game?
That guy has a direct IV of Toradol straight to him.
When do you think this earliest he's able to walk after a game?
Wednesday morning for a Sunday game.
Just crazy.
Yeah. Second shout out, just because I don't know that we're going to get the episode out before. My mother's birthday is next week. I think you and I have a little special treat for her on the next pod in terms of something she gave us. So we'll debut that next week. But happy birthday, Kelly. Happy birthday, Kelly. I'm not going to throw the age out there, but yeah, happy birthday to my mom.
Yeah, don't throw age out there. Drop address though.
Probably not.
Let's dox her for our 3 viewers.
Let's swat her, shall we? I'm sure that would give my 80-something-year-old grandmother the last push. Okay, that's not what we're doing here.
So be it. Never like to have any fun. God, I remember when you used to be cool and used to be fun shit.
Yeah, you used to throw rocks down by the river and smoke cheap cigarettes.
Okay, right, folks. Well, that wraps up episode 46 of Don't Quote Us Sports. As always, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow. Tell somebody no to give us a listen.
Please tell somebody.
And we will catch you on next week's episode.
See ya.
Peace.